1970s American slang for money. What would that be? Bread. Okay, so 1970s, people in America, the hippies called money bread. Rake in English is rich. So my guest this evening is Mr. Broodryk.
Wow, thanks, Bruce.
Meneer Broodryk.
To say.
Marnus Broodryk. I hadn't heard of you until yesterday, and I apologize. I feel like I've not been paying attention. But you've been below the radar largely until the emergence, and I think you've just finished filming the series of Shark Tank, which is an Uber version, or maybe Uber's the wrong word, but a higher level version of the old Dragon's Den.
Yeah, that's correct. I think I've always been playing in the SME space, which is a little bit below the radar. And yes, we just finished Shark Tank. It's starting this Sunday on Mnet.
Okay, and is it as interesting? Is it as exciting as Dragon's Den? Because you weren't part of the Dragon's Den team, although I see Vinnie Lingham is involved.
Yeah, Vinnie
again,
and Gil.
And Gil Oved, who sold his business for like R1 billion, so he's got lots of money to invest. They're part of the team.
Yeah, they are. I think Shark Tank is Dragon's Den on steroids. That's my own opinion. I've always watched the US version of Shark Tank, but as South Africans, we know Dragon's Den. I think Shark Tank is much better, and I think it's going to be an incredible show for the viewers.
Okay, good. I'm not going to ask you if you made any investments because that wouldn't be nice, but I suspect you probably did. I suspect your fellow sharks probably did. Is it quite competitive in that space when you go into the Shark Tank and you start making these investments, or you start interrogating the investments?
Yeah, it was very competitive. It's 5 business people and 5 entrepreneurs, and we all want the best deal for ourselves. So there was a lot of fighting, a lot of tears, a lot of everything in the tank, and a lot of...
How real is that?
Bruce, is 100% real. The entrepreneur walks in, the door closes behind him, and it's like a boardroom.
Have you had any insight before the cameras roll as to who is going to come through that door?
Absolutely not. We had a one-liner brief of the entrepreneur. We didn't know anything else about them.
So what would the brief be? Marnus Broodryk, he runs an accounting company.
Correct.
And that would be it.
Correct.
And then he would then the person has to come through those doors and convince you that their business is a good business, is scalable, and then you have to negotiate whether or not you take a stake in that particular business.
Yeah, correct. So the entrepreneurs, they had 3 minutes to pitch their idea to us, and then obviously thereafter we interrogate the idea and everything behind the business.
Okay. Did you make any investments?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's not spoil it. Goes on Mnet this Sunday.
This Sunday at
prime time, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, Channel 101, Mnet.
Okay, I think it's going to be fun. I look forward to seeing it. Now, were you always destined? I mean, you've got a name like Broodryk. Were you always destined to be rich?
No, Bruce. I actually come from very humble beginnings. I come from a small town in the Free State, Harrismith.
That's not a small town relative to Viljoenskroon, where I come from. Harrismith is a city.
No,
don't undersell Harrismith.
People think there's only a wimpy in Harrismith because they all stop there going down to Durban, but there's actually more than a wimpy.
The wimpy's outside anyway. Nobody has to go in.
Well, true. I started there. I went to school there. I actually had to pay for my own school fees, so I started washing cars and cutting grass.
When you say you come from modest beginnings, did your parents say to you, you need to pay your own school fees because there is no money, or you need to pay your own school fees to learn some life lessons?
No, there was really no money, and back in the day when I was in school, I don't think they can do it anymore, but they kept back your results if you didn't pay your school fees, so they only said pass or fail, and I didn't enjoy that, and so I just decided I'm going to pay my own school fees. So I washed cars and cut grass over the weekends. I started a little web design company
in Harrismith. Gee, that's ambitious.
Hence the reason why I had to do other things, because not too many people knew about a website back then.
But how old are you now? You're 30 years old, 31?
Yeah, I'm 31.
Okay, so 31, at the age of 14, you were designing websites, you were getting some income, you were putting yourself through school. Did you go to varsity? Did you get a tertiary education?
Again, I didn't. Again, there wasn't money to go and study. So I went to an auditing firm directly after school, and I started working there full-time and studying part-time through UNISA.
How did you manage to get through the front door of an audit firm? I'm assuming it's one of the big-name audit firms.
No, it wasn't. It was...
okay, that's the secret.
Yeah, it was a small little firm small. They were medium-sized in Harrismith.
Okay. And so, what, you just knew people, and because you knew people and knew that you could add 1 + 1, you can make it any number you chose. That's perfect for becoming an auditor. And they gave you a chance.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was actually, I read the Sunday newspaper, and they said that back then CAs were making the most money, and I thought, this is my job. And then the next week I got a call from them, and they said, would I be interested in coming to do articles with them? So I did. I studied part-time. It was crazy. I went out and had like 12, 14-hour work days, not because I was forced to, but really I saw it as a platform to learn as much as I could. And then I would go home and study, and it was 4 crazy years. But when I was 22, I was done with articles, degree, and I started a business.
And so are you a CASA, a chartered accountant?
I'm actually not. I didn't write my final board exam.
Why not?
I was
just too busy thinking of the next big idea.
I was doing one of the clients that I worked on. We took them to the JSE in my final year of auditing.
Which one was that?
AfriMat, one of their, and it was horrible doing audit work back then, and I said I don't want to do it ever in my life again, and I really want to add value, and I saw the need for accounting firms to add more value in businesses. So I thought, hey, this is my opportunity, let's start that movement, and that's what we did.
I always get very suspicious when I see media releases and it says serial entrepreneur, he started loads of businesses and he currently is running one called the Bean Counter, and I go, okay, just how many?
Yeah, I also don't like serial entrepreneur, and I think it's funny, Bruce. I think it's one of the biggest mistakes that I've made in my early career was to try and to focus on too many things. I think as entrepreneurs, all these ideas come up to you, but to really scale something very big and to grow a business very big, I really believe that you can't do it in parallel, and you need to focus on one business. So I went into property, and I started and sold 2 IT businesses in another IT business right now.
Where was this? In Harrismith?
No, all of this happening in Joburg.
Okay, so you escaped the bright lights of Harrismith at the age of 22 with the listing of AfriMat. That was your introduction to the big world.
So that was it was the final year of articles, and at the end of 2007, beginning 2008, I came to Joburg, and at the back of the bakkie was 1 double bed and my clothes, and that's what I came.
You had a bakkie? That's a step.
No, it was actually a rented bakkie.
Good.
And I remember I had like 37,000 rand in my bank, and that was it. And I had to make it work in Joburg, and that was my start.
Yeah, it's an amazing start. So IT businesses, technology businesses, that was the start. What was the first one?
Technology, so all in the same line, combining accounting with technology, integrations with the two. Where we're playing in now is the cloud space. So again, IT in the cloud accounting world.
Okay, and with that, IT in the cloud accounting world, you may as well be speaking accounting. What does that mean? How does it work?
So all accounting software. And integrations with the accounting software.
Is this proprietary software that you've had developed, or have you bought it in? Is it?
So again, a combination of the two. Initially, we started just using other software, supporting and selling other software, and then we started doing more of integrations, working with various software, and lately we've just developing our own software.
Okay, and then basically you're offering accounting services to small and medium enterprises, and people drop off their receipts in the cloud, and they send you a list of their income, and you magically tally it all together in a format that SARS will accept.
Yeah, that's really the thing that we've really disrupted in the last couple of years. Back in 2011, the Bean Counter, we started moving away from accountants that generally bill by the hour, so we started packaging it in a product. We started selling a product, really, moving to cloud, where everything is sitting in the cloud. And what it enabled the customers to do is you get all your papers wherever you are, you push it through a scanner, and it's not difficult. You just put the paper down and press a button, and it feeds through to the cloud. We've got software that automatically processes it, and we're moving away from a compliance work where it's just about submitting a tax and a VAT return, but really to help the business owner in his business, to give him reports and to show him what's actually happening in the day-to-day running of his business. So
you're more than just as you say, a compliance service, and that compliance service is one where every 6 months there's a set of bits of paper that you have to fill out and keep SARS happy. So you do all of that. But the role of a finance director in every business, small and medium enterprises can't afford a finance director. They can't afford to go and ask a chartered accountant or a registered accountant what to do in their business. All of this little magic that happens in the cloud gives data that enables them to actually maximize their business. You're spending too much on, I don't know if you're the coffee shop, on sugar, or you're spending too much on rent for the turnover that you've got. You've got to watch these spaces, that sort of thing.
That's exactly it. Well done, Bruce.
You see, I understand this accounting business. I really
No, it's exactly that. So the SME, and that's where we focus on, they can't afford a full-time CA. So with technology, we still give them the service of a full-time CA, but at a fraction of the cost. And business it's too fast today to accounting and accounting services. It's a very reactive service, and it needs to pick up pace, and it needs to be proactive, and you need to work with the business owner, and that's exactly the gap that we started to fill.
How much human intervention is there? Because especially in the early days of a technology-enabled solution. See, that's also tech speak.
Well done again.
But where you're trusting stuff that sort of filters into a cloud program, that a program is going to take these receipts. There's no one to pick up the phone to and say, did you get the receipt from the hardware shop, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, so technology will never solve everything for this industry, and it's still very personal, and there's a lot of personal service that goes into it. But we would rather spend that time working with you on your business, how to make your business better than putting a CA that's coming at a high cost to capture your information into a system. That doesn't make sense. So we want to allocate the resources differently to help you in your business and use technology to do all the small tasks.
Oh, okay, so that's the main focus of your business right now. But you also do stuff on TV. You're on CakeNet, and you've been on CakeNet, I think, for quite a while.
Yes, I'm currently hosting a show on SMEs. So I'm all about SMEs and helping SMEs, and I feel very passionate about small businesses.
How's the health of the sector? I mean, small and medium enterprises. If you're a startup in South Africa with a bright idea and no capital, you do whatever you can to get your business off the ground. People struggle though in that early stage.
Yeah, it's a very tough space, but I believe entrepreneurship in South Africa is definitely alive and well, and I think people need to be they need to get the right knowledge, and I also hope that programs like Shark Tank will play a vital role in that.
What role do they play? Is it inspirational? Is it an ideas? Is it driven by ideas? What is it?
Yeah, I think just in general, I think entrepreneurship is people, when they start a business, they think, when I've got a great idea, now I need to set up a factory. I need 2 million rand to set up this factory. I need to rent space in Sandton. I need a salary, whatever. And that's not going to happen. Where we are right now, things need to start small, and we start lean and we bootstrap. So if you've got an idea, just start and do it from your home. Do it on a small scale. Get it out there. Get your first customer. Pivot. Get your next thing.
Pivot.
Don't you know what that means?
Come on, explain.
So pivot. If something is not working, you change it slightly and you move in another direction. Now you're smiling.
Yeah, no, but it's jargon. You see, we don't like jargon.
No, sure. So just to get out there, to start and to hustle. I meet so many entrepreneurs who are saying, I'm not getting funding, and it's so difficult to start a business. I don't believe that you...
But people get obsessed on that, and they get stuck in the negative cycle and the negative trap, and they stop believing in their idea because nobody's prepared to give them the money. So nobody else believes in their idea, and they lose hope. I think that often happens.
It definitely happens, but no one should give you money, because if you've got a really great...
I love it. No, I think you're right.
If you really got a great idea, you don't need money, and you can start, and it will take off. You don't need to set up that big factory. You can change your business model.
At some point, you do need funding. Otherwise, what's Shark Tank about?
Of course you do, and that's very important. Again, Shark Tank, I wanted to see business with traction. If you stepped into the tank with just an idea, no traction, no orders, I wasn't interested, because it might just fail like so many small businesses do. But if you've got your first 10 customers, then you've at least got a proven business, and I can help you take you to 1,000 customers.
No, and then that's the big difference, I think. What do you make? I was chatting to Clive Butko earlier. He's the director at Growvest, and they are creating this 100 million rand fund to invest in fast-growing IT South African startups. I mean, there is actually a lot of money around for good ideas. Nick Haralambos, the Mr. Nick Harry Socks, says, if your idea is not getting funding, then your idea is not good enough. Get a better idea, which is brutal, but that's a pretty good piece of advice.
No, it definitely is. I think in tech, and that's where those guys are focusing on, you probably need a good idea, but most other businesses you don't. And the other night I heard Steve Cohen from Sage speak, and he said, forget about an idea. If you think about an electrician, when last did you get an electrician out to your house that was on time, that afterwards sent you an SMS and said, how was my service? You don't get that, yet there are thousands of them out there. So start an electrician business, but just do it better than the next guy, and you'll probably be successful. And he's right.
If you could start a plumbing, an electrician's business, any handyman service where you do the basics right, you will make a killing in South Africa in the 21st century.
But not just that, any business, you can start it. If you can outperform your competitor, you can be reasonable on price, you've got a business.
There we go. What a lovely story. Marnus Broodryk, I can't wait to see Shark Tank. It starts on Sunday, 6 p.m. on Mnet, channel 101 on DSTV. And as Marnus describes it, it is Dragon's Den on steroids.